Hey everybody, welcome to Drawbridge Finance. Today I'm going to tackle a very specific topic. When calculating dividend yield, should we look at the book value of the stock or the current market value? Hey everybody, welcome back to Drawbridge Finance. My name's Levi Woods, and today I'd like to say thank you to everyone because I can't believe how outreaching my channel has become. I'm up to almost 22,000 subscribers, and there are people from all over the world that are benefiting from the knowledge of me making these videos. So I can't believe it. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for all your comments, your likes. And if you haven't subscribed already and you're just watching this video, if you're just new to the channel, remember to click that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you get the videos when I post videos specifically about stock trades. And then that way you can jump on and see if you want to make a trade that I'm making on the day that I'm making it. Anyways, enough of that. As always, I am not a financial advisor. I don't work in the financial industry, and this is an opinion channel about money. Today, we're talking about dividend yield, and this is an important topic because I'm a dividend investor, and I like to make monthly income, or I might like to make quarterly income depending on the type of stock or equity or ETF that I'm buying. So today's question comes from one of my subscribers, Rick, who says, "Hey Levi, thanks for the educational sessions. These are extremely helpful when analyzing my performance. Which way should we be looking at the yield of our stocks, on book value or market value?" Now, Rick, this is a question that comes up all the time. I subscribe to other financial YouTubers, and there's one in particular that always uses book value to calculate the dividend yield, the forward dividend yield. And I just don't understand why anyone would do this. I mean, I always calculate off market value, and I'm going to show you the math why, because it doesn't make sense for me to calculate off book value. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what? Yes, it does, because that's the amount that you paid originally. And I agree, there is a time and a place to use book value to make certain calculations. But the reason that I don't use it for dividend yield specifically is because it gives us a false projection of the amount of money that we're potentially going to make. But anyways, let me just show you on a chart because it makes a little bit more sense if we just look at the numbers. I've got a really simple little spreadsheet. First, we're going to look at the calculation of how we calculate out the dividend yield. So it's the dollar amount of annual yield divided by the dollar investment value and then times by 100 gives us a percentage of dividend yield percentage. Let's just take two characters who you guys have grown to love, Alice and Bob. So both of them purchased A&W stock back in October of 2014. And they were able to buy 100 shares for $25 each. So they currently own 100 shares of A&W. They haven't purchased any more since then, and they haven't been reinvesting the dividends. So we're going to ignore the cash dividends that have already been paid for them. We're just going to pretend that they don't exist, and we're going to look only at the stock valuation for what they're making, what they're projected to make in the next year. And then we can get an accurate view as to what the dividend yield could be in their eyes. So they own 100 shares, the average stock price is $25, and the book value on those shares is $2,500. Now that's never going to change. They pay $25 and they own 100 shares. As long as they don't buy or sell any more shares, the book value is constant. It does not change. It's the same for both characters. Now, if we look at the current stock price is $43, we can calculate out the current market value. Easy calculation, 100 shares times current stock price equals the market value, so 4,300. And we have to make certain assumptions in these videos. So in this video, moving forward from this point, we're going to assume that there will be no value increase in the stock price itself. We also have to assume that the dividend yield is going to stay consistent. So currently A&W is paying 15.4 cents per month. So we're going to plug that into the calculation. The expected annual dividend per month per share is going to be 15.4 cents. There's two ways we can calculate this. If we look at the formula, we've got the dollar amount annual yield, which is going to be this amount that is generated, the 15 cents per month per share, so times 100 shares times 12 months, which works out to $184.80. So we take that's the amount that the current investment is going to yield. That's how much money they should make in cash in dividend payout. $184.80 divided by the investment value and then times 100. Now Alice is going to use the market value and Bob is going to use the book value for this dollar investment value. See the formula here. She's got her expected dividend per month times the number of shares she owns, which is 100, times 12, and then divided by the market value, 4,300. And this cell is set to percentage, so it automatically times it by 100. So we get a 4.3% yield. Now, Bob uses book value. So does the same calculation, but you can see the difference. Instead of using market value, he uses the book value. Same formula. So the expected annual dividend per month times the number of shares owned times 12, because it's going to pay out 12 times, divided by the book value. So Bob is calculating out that his future dividend yield is going to be 7.39%. So now let's do the math a little bit further. Let's just say, well, we have the portfolio is worth $4,300 right now, and that's there's no argument there. That's what it's worth now. So if the dividend yield was going to be 4.3%, as Alice has calculated, she would theoretically get $184. So 4,300 times 4.3% is $184.80. Now, Bob is expecting a 7.39% return because he's just done that math. The calculation is correct. He's just based it off the book value. So he is expecting that his current portfolio is going to increase by 7.39%. So if that was the case, his 4,300 would increase by 7.39% or $317.86. So now both of these characters are absolutely correct in their calculation. Both of them have a dividend yield percentage. One is based off book value, one is based off market value. But the question is, which one is more accurate? Which one is more helpful? And I think that boils down to the root of this question is, what are we actually using this dividend yield for? It's like, what I want to know is how much my portfolio is going to increase in the next year. So when I calculate out something, I want to actually have an accurate number so that I know if I have a $100,000 account and it's going to grow by 7%, I'm going to make $7,000. If I have a $100,000 account that's going to grow by 14%, I'm going to make $14,000. This is what we use a dividend yield for. So let's just check the math to see who would be correct in their assumption, because Alice projecting 4.3% and Bob's projecting 7.39%, completely different numbers. If we take away the stock and we just look at the dollar figures and we calculate the return on investment, if everything goes out as planned, we can backtest and we can see the result of the return on investment. And we can see which one was a more accurate prediction. So in this case, we're looking at the formula, the final value minus the initial value divided by the initial value times 100 equals the return on investment. Now remember that both characters are in the exact same position. They have a current portfolio value, and Alice is expecting a 4.3% return, and Bob is expecting a 7.3% return. So the value of the portfolio today is $4,300. We also know that, again, assuming that everything stays equal, that the dividend payout in the next 12 months is going to be a set formula. It's going to be very static. So we do this math again. 100 shares times 15.4 cents per share times 12 works out to $184.80. So if we assume that they don't use the dividend payout to buy more stocks, but we keep it in cash, then at the end of the year, we'll have $4,300 in stock, and we'll have $184 in cash, and we'll have a total value of $4,484.80. Now, if we use those numbers to run the return on investment formula, we can take the final value, which is $44.84, minus the initial value, which is $43, divided by the initial value, which was 43, times 100, and we get 4.3%. Even though Bob made a calculation off his book value to predict that he was going to make 7% return, in reality, if nothing changed, the stock only generated a 4.3% return, which is exactly what Alice had expected. She calculated using market value and got a dividend yield that was more accurate to the situation. We don't have to do any of this fancy math. We can just go to Yahoo Finance and we can look for it on the sheet. So we pull up a stock, A&W, currently trading at $43, and we can look down here, forward dividend and yield. We're expecting $1.85, which is that 15.4 cents times 12, and expecting a current yield of 4.21%. So now, of course, this is 4.2 and mine was 4.3 because I was using a little bit more general numbers to make the math a little easier. I calculated off $43, not $43.19, which is the current price as of last Friday. So that's where the divergence is in this case. But on Yahoo Finance, they're calculating off of market value, not off book value, because they have no idea what you paid for it. Now, I know there's going to be people that say, well, this is irrelevant. You have to use the book value because you have to look at how much the taxation is on the capital gains if you chose to sell the stock, because you would actually be reducing the overall amount of your portfolio. And I totally understand that, but I think that's a different topic. Calculating the taxation on selling of shares has nothing to do with whether or not we're calculating the dividend yield moving forward. So your personal dividend yield does not change unless you buy or sell shares, and the buying or selling shares is a separate transaction that you have to calculate out. It's a separate calculation you have to do. Calculating out the tax on capital gains is completely irrelevant when talking about the dividend yield specifically. What people should be doing is looking at the actual dollar amount. If we get away from the percentages and don't look at percentages at all, and you just boil down to how many dollars am I going to make for my investment, then you can get an accurate sense of the return without actually muddling it up with a percentage, it's easy to make mistakes when looking at percentages because they can be utterly confusing because there's multiple ways of calculating those things. And it's how banks and ETFs often skew the data to make things look a little bit better than they may or may not be. Anyways, that's today's topic. I hope you guys learned something. I know I have. I always learn something every time I do a calculation, and that's part of why I have this channel, is so that we can all educate ourselves and so we can all get rich together. Thanks so much for watching, and see you very soon.